Come on, man. Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and today I'm finally doing the review on the 35mm f0.95 TTArtisan's APS-C lens that I've been working on for a while now. Let's get this going. Disclaimer, I did not pay for this lens. TTArtisan did send it to me as a review sample to keep. As far as I know, they never said anything about wanting it back either. Here are the strings attached, for lack of a better term. There are none. They literally gave me no conditions to receive this lens. The conversation basically went, are you interested in a sample of this lens to review? And if we like your review, may we post it on our social media? That was all. So they have pretty high confidence in this lens performing. I just wanted to put that out there up front. I am free to say whatever I want about this lens. To start with, this lens is for APS-C cameras, so it doesn't cover a full frame sensor. Just remember that. It's a fairly large lens in the APS-C world to be a full manual lens. Matter of fact, I have their 17mm f1.4 variant here, and you can see the diameter size difference. And the 17 is a pretty big lens. You know, that front element has to be pretty large to clear all that. Just remember that as you're doing your evaluation of whether or not you want this lens or not. But it is full manual. There are no electronics in this lens whatsoever. First thing I want to talk about is the interaction with the lens. Okay, the interaction is really good. You have a nice wide focus barrel on the lens. The aperture ring is in the front just like all their other manual glass, and it's very narrow just like all their other manual glass. Something they changed here that I don't know if I'm a big fan of yet or not, but right now it seems to be working okay, is the way they've textured the grip areas on the focus and aperture ring. The previous ones have a knurl. It's typically a straight line knurl, but it's a knurl. Even though they're very narrow, they're very sure-fitted. When you grab them, you know it, and they turn, and you don't have slipping. These, they don't slip, but it's not a very aggressive grip area, because they've took an end mill of some kind or a little radial cutter, and they've cut little grooves every so often all the way around the lens. It's a really nice aesthetic. It looks really good. These little dish cuts do give you some grip, and it's a simpler manufacturing technique than knurling, and it takes less time, if I had to guess, and you have a lower reject rate. So this is probably a cost savings technique, but it works. I'm kind of spoiled to the knurled lenses of the other ones I have, but it works just fine. The text on it is deeply engraved, and it has like a Leica-esque kind of aesthetic, and it has feet and meters on the hyperfocal distance or the range focus, or whatever you want to call it. It's well engraved and it's well painted, and the paint is really nicely done. It's not like splattered all over the place. It comes in a plethora of APS-C mounts, so you can most likely get it to fit the mount of on your camera. This is an L mount, so it'll fit my Leica. Just a little side note, something I wasn't quite anticipating was how hard it is to nail focus of a portrait at f0.95. It is not easy. I learned the hard way. It took me a couple of tries, but I kind of figured out the trick of, as you put it in continuous auto, and as you take the frame, you lean in, because what I wind up doing is focus and recompose, because on the CL it just uses the center focus point when focus magnification is enabled. It'll be front focused a little. It's tough. It's razor thin. You know you're getting old when there's a tavern named Gen X Tavern. This thing produces beautiful 8-point light stars, and that's at f16. I'm sure it'll do it at f11 and probably f8 too. I haven't tried it at those. I did stop it all the way down to f16 and give it a shot. Shot some light stars through the tree branches into the sun, but it works really well for that. Another feature this lens has, when the sun's in the frame, it produces pretty strong flare, as you can see in this photo. You know, for what you're paying, it's to be expected. You're not paying Nikon, S-series Z-mount lens prices for these lenses. You're getting them at a bargain for what you're getting. The dampening on the focus ring and the feel of the clicks on the aperture are beautiful. I mean, this lens is just beautiful to work with. I'm singing its praises right now because it's that good. If you was a filmmaker, you could declick this aperture ring and that lens flare would probably look cool in video. You know, it would have a very cinematic look to it. I think it would. Another thing I wanted to bring up was how easy it is to shoot street with this lens. I normally set focus traps, but I can also focus just, if it's stopped down any at all, like right now I'm shooting at f5.6, and I'll shoot at 5.6, 7.1, 8, sometimes as far as 11. If it's bright sun, I'll stop it down to f11 or f16. That gives me incredible deep depths of field, and you know, with that you're pretty well gonna hit focus. It's just the way it works. So, but it does. It works really well for that for me. Something to note about the lens is that it weighs about 250 grams, has 7 elements that are in 2 groups or 5 groups, I'm pretty sure. It's a 52 millimeter filter thread, full manual, has a 10 bladed aperture, and it's about 2 inches long by 2 inches wide. A lot of glass in it. It's a pretty heavy little lens just to be what it is, because it's f0.95. And speaking of f0.95, that's nice to have at night. It produces dreamy portraits, number one. Number two, it gives you 1 1/3 stops of light over an f1.4. And all in all, for me and the shooting I like to do, this lens is a real winner. It just is. It hits a home run for me. Because I like to shoot in low light a lot, but it does allow me to see like the defects that the lens produces because of that. So with that, I appreciate you watching. And seriously, I don't have like a affiliate link or anything. You can go straight to TTArtisan's website and order this lens straight from them if you want one. If you like low light, or if you like big glass, let me say that correctly, then this lens is a real winner. It really is. It gives you that Leica Noctilux fun factor without the Noctilux price point. You can literally get like 100 of these for one Noctilux. Literally 100 of them. I'm pretty sure it's about the same price. So with that, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and I appreciate you watching. If you haven't done it yet, like and subscribe right down there. So until next time, get your camera out and go take a picture with it. All right, we'll see you later. Bye bye.